But it's not. It wasn't her who annoys me. It's that doctor in it. That woman. She does me head in.
Yeah.
I can't be doing with her the way.
Well, she's not actually officially a doctor, is she?
No, and her bedside manner's not very good either. No, it's like the fear tactic that I think you want a little bit of...
And what does she look like? I mean, she doesn't look like the sort of peak of health. She's got that weird sort of witch-like crone face.
Well, it can't be good for you hanging about all that poo all the time. She's always delving into that every other day. I used to be told, you know, don't mess about with dog poo because it can make you go blind.
Yeah.
She's constantly at it.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Rubbing through it. And it annoys me the way it's like, you know, well, let's have a look at your poo. Let's see if you're eating the wrong types of food. The person's about 33 stone.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't need to look at that. It just whine, and I'll tell you the thing that, I mean, I've never had it done anyway, right? But the colonic thing.
Did Michelle have that? I didn't see it.
Yeah, she had that done. And they're showing it, she sat there sort of lying down. She's like, oh. But I don't understand why people have that done anyway, unless you are sort of bunged up.
Yeah, or you've got a cactus up there.
Or,
yeah.
But the other thing is like the way, like it's a clear tube. Why do you need to, you know what I mean? Why do you need to see what's whizzing past? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's some sort of generation game. You've got to remember what's going past.
Everything, then you win a prize.
Why can't you just look at it in the bucket after and go, right, yeah.
Well, why look at it at all? Why do you need to look at it?
Well, it's...
Out of interest, isn't it?
See what's come out, I don't know.
So yeah, that's where that went. Oh, that's why I've been looking for that. Remote control.
How does it work? I don't want to go into graphic detail, but they just send water up there, don't they?
No, caffeine.
Caffeine?
Yeah, so it's like it's like a gallon of coffee.
Wow.
That goes up there, and it wants to come out immediately, obviously. And then it percolates.
But when did that happen? How did someone sort of go, tell you what you want to do?
I think it was first invented on distraction. To win a car. I don't know, do I? I suppose they thought there's stuff up there that's not coming out. It's for, you know, they find things up there.
Though, isn't it?
They did that thing that they find things up there that they swallowed when they were 5 and that, don't they?
Lego bricks and stuff.
Exactly, yeah, marbles. But I mean, meats and things can stay in there for, you know, it gets caught in a little, you know, a little recess in your 30-foot of tubing. And, it doesn't come out.
Talking of meats, I saw an advert on the way in today. Question to both of you. Who eats pepperoni?
I don't know.
Have you ever eaten a pepperoni?
It's disgusting.
I've never seen anyone eating a pepperoni, buying one. I've never heard anyone say, delicious pepperoni earlier. I don't associate it with anyone. I've never seen anyone eat one.
When you think what is it, just sort of like, curdled, salty, it's sort of like, do you want to try a big long blood bogey?
Yeah.
I won't, no, it lasts forever. Oh, that's scary then.
Yeah.
You just keep it.
It's like
keep it under your couch, it'd be just as nice in a year's time.
It does look like something you'd find down the back of the oven when you were cleaning out, one of those Gordon Ramsay documentaries.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But, because I always associate, it's pepperonis, and it's those nutrition drinks, which are like it looks like a dog food tin. I think it's just called something like nutrition or Nutri drink or something.
Oh, yeah.
And you always see some empty ones on a brick wall near a council estate.
Oh, right.
Which I think the only people who eat them are homeless people.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say it's bodybuilders.
No, it's because you buy these, you can see them in regular newsagents. It's not a bodybuilding
I don't believe a homeless who's just got a quid because she runs in and buys an isotonic Nutri drink.
No, it's not isotonic. No, I think it's basically, if you don't want to eat a meal because you're too high on smack, it'll give you as much as you can possibly need, just to keep you alive until your next hit.
And tell me, Steve, does the Special Brew do that? Or am I barking up the wrong tree with that?
I don't know.
Because they seem to be getting a lot of nutrition from Special Brew.
The people who make Special Brew now, they've just resigned to the fact that it's only homeless people who are drinking it. It's like, well, we may as well just market it chiefly at them.
What's the advertising? Takes the edge off when you can't find smack.
Yeah. Are you trying to sleep on Tottenham Court Road? New Order, World, XFM 104.9 with Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington, and it's knob news time. We're all very excited. Now, last week's knob news was what, Karl? Do you remember it was a man
who grew a knob on his arm?
Sure.
No, he didn't grow it there, did he? He put it there.
Well, I know that, but, yeah.
Just popped it on his arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
This week.
Just a recap of the week's news. Right now it's the headlines.
Well, we talked about it before. Do you know the little mouse that had an ear on its back?
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. Well, he thought he had a bad time, right? Listen to this one. mouse walking about with us sort of wearing a monkey's testicle. They're just having a laugh. This is what I mean about a lot of scientists. What are they doing? When's that going to come in handy?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, they were seeing if, you know, say if a fella loses one, right?
Yeah.
Hitler or whatever. And they go, well, don't worry about it, we can sort you out. I don't know what the monkey's gonna do. I don't know if they keep passing them on or whatever, but the actual monkey testicle was put on the mouse, and it worked. It worked for the mouse.
But isn't it, I mean, isn't a monkey's testicle quite large in relation to a mouse? Would it not look like the mouse was on a space hopper or something?
Oh yeah, it didn't look good.
Well, they didn't put it where its testicles would be.
No, they did.
Like, well, how could it walk then? The ear was on his back, so he could just get about.
Well, I don't know, but
Well, you don't know, do you? You just guessed.
No, no.
Did they grow the monkey's testicles where the mouse
Well, it
testicles
looked
would?
stupid anywhere else, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, whereas a mouse with monkey testicles, that's fine.
Oh, you'd be showing off. You'd be alright. I'd prefer that than the ear.
When that mouse gets put back in with the other mice, do the other mice go, George, you look different, have you had anything done?
But the weird thing is, as well, apparently it still works as a monkey.
What?
So, like,
what are you talking about?
Like the sperm and that was, it was still sort of monkey
Of course
sperm.
it was. What are you talking about?
But that's weird.
But what, Carl? What do you? It's only a thing to give it nutrients. That's all the thing they're testing. It's like grafting at that level. Right. What's your question? Because I'm right. What do you think? It would change eventually. It would have changed into a mouse testicle because it had been hanging round a mouse for so long.
No, I thought the actual sperm of it though would be a mouse's.
Why?
Because it's hanging off a mouse.
No, but your sperm is actually created in the testicles.
So
that's
say
why
this
that's why it has to be outside your body. Otherwise, we put them in a nice little cage.
But I'm guessing then that they've done this operation so that they can do it to humans. Yeah. Why would I want a monkey testicle if my kids are going to be monkeys? What use is it?
No, think. That's no.
That's going to happen anyway, Carl.
No, yeah, but think. Think of what you're saying. They've grown a monkey testicle on a mouse to see if it would still function as a monkey's testicle, okay? So they can do that to humans. So think, Carl. What they'd do is, they'd grow a human testicle on a mouse, and it could still be used as a human testicle.
So what?
To give you a testicle that you've lost.
From a mouse?
No, from another person who it was kept alive on a mouse. Because it's kept the nutrients alive, as opposed to keeping it in a deep freeze. Maybe bollocks go off after a week. I don't know. Maybe they get accidents. He had a little a card. Do you donate your testicles? Yeah, I'll tell you what. No one needs testicles yet. Let's keep them on a mouse. You have yours ripped off in some sort of bizarre skiing accident. You go, well, you're in a Battersea Dog Town. You pick the ones you want. They can grow them on anything. They can grow them on a Dachshund. Bulldogs are growing them usually, that's where you see a bulldog. Usually that's waiting for an operate. What don't you understand, Carl?
Hang on a minute, I thought this was knob news, not testicle time. I don't understand what
this testicle time's not for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No, it's all sort of linked and that though, isn't it?
Well,
sometimes it's linked to a mouse.
But what do you think about, like, I don't know, testing stuff out like that? Is it worth it? Could you not just go straight from...
But listen, Carl, I'm getting this information from you.
No, if
this was on Question Time and someone said there were, Dimbleby and Paxman or whoever said it, I'd think about it as a moral dilemma. You've just said you saw a mouse with a monkey testicle. What do you think of that? I don't think any of it. I don't think anything of it is the answer, Carl, because I can't trust the info. I cannot trust anything that comes out of your mouth.
Well, it's true, but it's just all this, it's the same thing, innit? It's the leeches in a blender, it's the fella looking at an electron.
Yeah.
It's the mouse with an ear on its back.
Yeah.
I don't know what the point is.
But you don't read on. Because I've seen you read somewhere, and you're going, look at that, man survives on eating knee. And I go, what else? You go, I didn't read on. I didn't read on.
You look at the mouse with the ear on the back, and you just think, that must be murder at a concert. You don't think. You don't think.
No,
anything
I
else.
just
You don't
think,
read
is it worth sort of wasting
You think he swallowed someone's ear? He gnawed it away and swallowed it, and it's just in his system?
Yeah.
No, I just get a bit sad about the mice and
I agree. I mean, that is sad, yeah. Of course, anything like that is awful.
But saying that, I remember ages ago, they have a load of people on Oxford Street. Don't know if you've seen them, where they get you to sign stuff.
Yeah.
And the woman got annoyed with me, right, because she was saying about, you know, drugs with animals, testing them out and stuff like that, which is bad. But, and I was saying, yeah, it's really bad, and I was looking at the pictures and that. But I said, what would happen, you know, if like the drugs, aspirin, and the monkey's got headache, is it such a bad thing? She got annoyed, didn't want to listen anymore. It's a good point though, isn't it? At what point is it cruel to test stuff out and things?
Yeah.
Give it some Nurofen. It's happy.
Yeah, well, I bet that mouse had, headache. Because everything must have been loud. The other mice squeaking must have done its head in.
Yeah.
Oh, that would give him a
Turn that
Nurofen.
radio down.
Give him a Nurofen, please.
The number of times I find a theory that he said in Gobbledegook, but it's true. I think that, I think he's been dealt a bad hand in the brain department. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thoughts, Carl?
Well, your brain's in 2 bits, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I wonder if one half is really good, the other half's messing it up.
Yeah.
That's how I feel
That
sometimes.
could be the case.
Yeah. Well, it is split into 2. Yeah, and they are responsible for different things.
Yeah.
It's like these sort of families where there's a kind of really bright kid and then a sort of wayward child who just gets into drugs and stuff. Sort of like that up there
Yeah.
in your head.
Because you have quite sort of out there nebulous thoughts, and you've got a lot of common sense, haven't you?
And just having that that other sense of like, this is dodgy.
What spider sense?
Just that sense where you just go, I don't know why, but something's telling me we shouldn't be here. And you go, alright, let's go. And you move from it, and you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
You don't know what's decided that. You know, it's like when you're lost. A part of my brain's got me lost, but then there's another bit that I don't know what it is, where they go left. And you do, and then you go,
So
remember that time when you called me and I said I don't know where I am, and I couldn't concentrate.
think of that. Think of that. I called him. Oh my God, what are you doing? I don't know where I am.
What do you mean you didn't know where you were? What you?
I got lost. I
What,
went
in London
wandering.
you got
yeah,
lost?
Yeah. And I went wandering, and then you know, I
It's
was
when
like,
he first moved into his new place. He was walking back from his old place to his new place, and he didn't know where he was. He
How
tried
can
to
you
take a
ever
short.
really get lost in London though? I'm just... It's a cabbie.
well, yeah, I don't want to do that because you feel bad pulling one over and then saying, where am I?
Yeah, they don't appreciate that, do they?
But I found my way back, didn't I?
Yeah.
But you told me
20
one
minutes.
time that you much prefer getting lost. You love wandering around and getting lost. You
Yeah,
said that's much better.
Going
Yeah,
around
it
the
was a cold
cul-de-sac.
day. It was a cold day. I just wanted to be at home. I had things to do. There's a time and place to be lost.
Well, go on.
Well, a place
What's
you
the
don't
place?
know.
What's
and
the place to be lost?
Somewhere you don't know.
Right. Good. Okay.
And the
specific.
time?
The time.
Time when you're not in a rush.
Right.
But that time I was in a rush, and I was
And-
cold.
So a typical argument in your head is what? I'm lost. I'll do one side of the brain. You do the other side of the brain. Okay, in your head. Okay. Carl,
What?
this isn't where we should be. You want to go home, didn't you? This isn't your house, because it's a field. You live in a house, don't you? Why are we standing in a field? This isn't your house. You're meant to be going home, but you've walked into a field.
No, but that wouldn't. I've never been that lost where I'm walking across a field. At the edge of the field, I'd go, hang on a minute, this isn't right. I wouldn't get in the middle. I wouldn't go that far. I'd go, right, I definitely shouldn't be here.
You did once. You were in the middle of a field, and your dad had to rescue you.
Yeah,
and carry
that's
you
when I
through
was
the
a kid, because I was reading as I was walking. That's,
And he never read again.
but there's another sense. I was in the middle of nettles there.
Yeah.
I'd walked. It was at my brother's wedding in Cornwall, and I was walking near a cliff edge.
Reading a book.
And okay, so okay. Fucking Carl, I know you're enjoying this book. Can I have a word with you? Just look past the book a minute. There's a big drop.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened, and then
Right.
that's when my other senses went, hang on a minute, I'm being stung. Load of nettles and stuff. And I just had to wait there for ages until my dad sort of thought, where's Carl? I was there for about an hour and a half.
You showed a book. reading a book when it's your brother's wedding.
No, this was like, we were in, I think it was St Ives in Cornwall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in St Ives, and just, you know, it was a nice day and that. There was no telly in the place. It was a horrible house. It was haunted, actually. No, honestly.
No, not honestly. It wasn't haunted. There's no such thing as ghosts. So you saying honestly it was haunted means fuck all.
It's the weirdest place and weirdest sensation I've ever had. I spoke to a woman called Mrs. Battersby,
Right.
who sat on my bed keeping me up all night. My mum came up, she said, "You look shattered." I said, "Yeah, I haven't had a kip all night." She said, "Why?" I said, "I've been talking to Mrs. Battersby." She said, "Who's that?" I said, "No, some old woman." Now, I can't remember it now, but that's what I did then. And then,
Sorry. So Mrs. Battersby didn't exist. Is that what you're saying? She was the ghost.
yeah.
Wasn't the landlady.
No, there's no landlady. It's a big house,
Right.
about 12 bedrooms in it.
Right.
Dead cheap to stay there because it was a wreck. My
Were
mum
you
and dad
ill?
went out
Were you
one
ill?
night.
Did you have flu at the
No,
time?
I had nothing like that. I just...
So you were sitting up and you were awake and you were having a conversation with Mrs. Battersby.
What did she look like?
I can't remember. I can't even remember having the chat now.
Right,
But
so-
at the time, I was like, oh, she just doesn't shut up. Chatting all night.
So you don't remember this happening? Or you do remember it happening?
No, I remember that, like, if I see my mum now and I mention St. Ives, she'll go, "Oh, yeah, Mrs. Battersby." She remembers coming in, because she was older than me, wasn't she? So, to
Who?
her, my mum.
Was she?
How old was Mrs. Battersby? She was older than both
She
of you.
was old because I'm calling her Mrs. Battersby. If she was my age, I'd probably say, "Oh, it's Susan" or whatever.
Right, sure,
You
Miss
call older
Miss
people
Battersby.
by the surname, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, so she kept me
How
up
old
all
were you?
night. You know, I'm thinking of pictures at the wedding.
Why do you have to go through other things to just have a memory?
How old do you reckon you were?
I don't understand why you haven't got direct access to your memories.
How old do you reckon you were?
Your mum was older though, yeah?
You must have a vague idea of when this
I'm
event
thinking
was.
about it now. I'm thinking. I'm
Okay.
picturing a picture of myself at this wedding.
Okay.
And how old are you? What are you doing?
How tall were
I'd say
you?
I look about.
How were you?
I'd say I look about 7 or 8. Looking at the picture.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So Mrs. Battersby is chatting away to you. You don't remember what she said, but you do remember having the conversation.
No, he doesn't remember it
I
at
don't
all.
remember the chat now.
Well, then
So-
why are you telling?
It's
You
not
must
your
remember it
memory.
because you're telling us about
It's not
it.
your
Because it's a
memory.
memory. My mum's reminded me of it.
Yeah, but all it says is, this is so far removed. This is hearsay that your mum said you spoke to a ghost once, and you don't even remember the ghost.
Mrs. Battersby.
No,
Yeah,
you
no, but
remember
you
the
don't
name
remember
no, because
her.
your mum reminded you of
In a
it.
court of law, if there was a ghost court, they go hearsay, thrown out of court.
Right.
You
yeah.
don't have a memory of Mrs.
No,
Battersby.
look, I know that when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I ate a beetle. I ate a beetle because I thought it was licorice. Now, I can't remember that now.
You can't remember that, but you know it happened because your mother told you it happened.
Exactly.
Right. But the fundamental thing is that we can believe we can believe you ate a beetle, right? Because that is something that could happen in real life.
But-
what we're questioning is that you spoke to a ghost.
I thought it was licorice. What sort of beetle was it?
Just one of them standard beetles, just the black shiny one.
Thing is, right, a couple of years ago, we were in the Ivy, and the food came, and there's a big blob of wasabi, right? It was like called an Oriental hors d'oeuvre, right? And I looked over at Carl, and he started going, drinking water. I said, "What have you done?" He said, "I had that." I said, "That was a blob of wasabi." He said, "I thought it was one mushy pea."
That's a classy restaurant. They're serving one mushy pea.
Well, they do that, don't they?
Wow.
Small portions. It's all trendy, isn't it?
I love the fact that it's exactly the same thing. But they've swapped beetle for wasabi and licorice for pea. You see things, you see something, you
It's a
think...
good job you remembered that anecdote, though, because he doesn't.
Exactly, yeah. In years to come, we'll be going, "Ate some wasabi once." Did you?
Yeah.
Well, according to Ricky, I did, yeah. I was in the Ivy. I thought it were mushy pea.
So hang on, I just want to go back to Mrs. Battersby because
What
you
other-
confidently said it
most haunted.
was haunted. It was the most haunted place.
Yeah.
But you've got no real evidence for it because even you claim you had this encounter, you don't even remember it.
But you don't remember everything in life,
But you
do you?
supposedly had a conversation with a ghost.
I know, but I didn't know. When I was younger, I
But you
didn't think
remember
that
the
was a
specifics
ghost.
of an ant walking around.
Yeah, so you thought, so I see. If you'd have had the memory, it would just be a nice old lady on the end of your bed all night.
Right.
And then...
Then when I mentioned it, my mum was saying, "What do you mean, Mrs. Battersby? Who's Mrs. Battersby?"
Right?
When you're a kid, you're not terrified, are you?
No.
Nothing scares
I mean,
you.
I'm beginning to think, who the fuck is Mrs. Battersby, I must admit. But
So, yeah, that was, but it was a weird place. I mean, there was no telly. All they had for sort of company was a calculator.
You are the strangest little man that's ever lived. Company. There goes Carl with his friend. What's his friend? Oh, it's a little.
It's a Sanyo 4197G.
I love that. That's amazing.
Oh, calculator, do that boobs thing again.
My mum and dad used to go out. I stayed in there.
Just shots of him with his calculator on the beach. My only friend was a calculator. Oh, God. Just imagine shots of him in Vietnam just carrying Tommy.
When the battery's tied, they had to have a funeral for him.
His barrels roll over the floor. Oh, fucking hell. The only company was a calculator. Before I used to knock around with a brick. Oh, fuck me.
We have to face facts here.
Go on.
The world is old.
Hold on. All right, okay. Yeah,
world's old.
The world is
that
old.
is a fact.
Yep.
That is a fact.
It's the same as if you've got a gran who's 70.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do for her. You can say you're warm, but at the end of the day, she's still going to be shitting her pants. She's still going to be, forgetting things and all the rest of it. And you might be taking care of her, but at the end of the day, the good days are gone.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in a way, like the world, it's got to a point that it's old. And yeah, we can say turn the tap off, turn the lights off, close the windows, stop letting heat out.
The earth, metaphorically, is shitting its pants.
We are not the same as the first man that nature made.
No. No, we're not, no.
And that's where we went wrong. And if we didn't interfere at that point, we might have been more suited to the conditions now.
U2, the sweetest thing on XFM. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington.
So, we're with Carl in the week. So, well, what can we do this week? I was saying, well, don't do Rockbusters, that's dead in the water. I hope the listening public agree with me. He's going, well, why teach stuff again? Remember what I taught you last week? I went, no, no idea. Were you joking? I went, no. And he went, Ivan the Terrible gouged out a fella's eyes.
Yeah.
He actually said Ivan the Terrible at the time.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember. This was a man who had built something for Ivan the Terrible, and then
but his idea of education is telling someone something that knows more about the subject than him, so they can correct him when he's telling them it. And so I said, well, I don't know. And he gets annoyed that me and you are dubious against monkeys who perform bank robberies. And he goes, but you believe in Newton. He doesn't know the difference. I was trying to explain the laws of the universe, right? He was going, what do you do? And so all I come up with, I thought somewhat interesting. You know when you tell a child maths, you say you've got 3 potatoes and you've got 4 potatoes. I have to do that with science to Carl. So I ended up saying, imagine you're in a shopping trolley with loads of house bricks. If you throw the house bricks out, you'll go the other way. He loved that.
Right.
He didn't you?
Because I didn't know that would happen. And it's sort of useful to know. It sort of explained a bit to me and stuff.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why I like doing stuff every week. I think listeners go away going, well, I didn't know that. Do you know what I mean? Carl told me something there.
They forget it instantly, just like we do. We're friends of yours, and we forget it instantly.
No, the annoying thing with you is, Steve, not so much, Ricky, at least he'll listen now and again, you'll just dismiss stuff straight away. I told you loads of stuff yesterday, I taught you loads of stuff.
But Carl, what you consider education... hang on, what you consider education, I consider tittle-tattle.
Well...
It's not education. Do you know what I mean? You seem to think it's education. It's just kind of gossip, stories you've sort of half-read.
Right, alright, example of yesterday. Goldfish have longer memories than people think they do.
Yeah.
You said no, it's rubbish.
No, we didn't. We said where'd you get that from? We said, oh, really?
From?
Yeah.
There's not enough information there for it to be educational. Because
because it's also relative. Because that as a statement, it has no objectivity. Goldfish's memories are longer than some people think. That isn't a fact.
Exactly.
Because we don't know how long do people think a goldfish's memory is. Do you see what that isn't a fact? Whereas Newton's laws of physics and the universe are.
Right. Yeah, but it was just a little thing. And I taught you more than that. I said about there's loads of Chinese people, if you put them in a line you can't get to the end of it.
I don't know what that means!
I don't know what that means.
There's loads of Chinese people.
We know that, but what? If we put them in a line we can't get to the end of it?
We just say there's about 1 billion Chinese people in the world.
But what really annoys me is, right, I read something on the internet the other day, because I'm always trying to learn stuff.
Yeah, no you are, I know you are.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're having a go at me because you're saying, well, what does that mean? Yeah, there was a report on, I think it was on a Nova or BBC News website. It said, the world may end in 32 million years. Right, first of all it says may, doesn't say it will, and 32 million, who's going to argue with that? And yet they're allowed to put that on a website. You're not having a go at them.
No, but
But you didn't read on.
There's more
It
information.
wasn't like, that wasn't meant to be a newsflash to worry people. That was like, oh, scientists have discovered that possibility there. That was just like,
Yeah, but again, possibility.
No, but Carl,
Yeah, but
it's
there's
the
no-
8 other paragraphs that you haven't read. You see, that'll have to give
need to,
explanations
doesn't
as
need
to
to,
why
yeah.
they think that might happen. So therefore it becomes a news item, it becomes educational. It's not just the headline, the bullet point. The headline's just supposed to, it's supposed to draw you into the story so you read on. That's not all the information.
But then I was trying to come up with things to excite you, and I realised that I was opening a can of worms. I was trying to come up with facts for him. He was going, give me facts. So I said, oh, okay, why can't an owl, why does an owl have to turn its sort of head 180 degrees? And I said, it's because the eyes are so large, it has to have a huge focal point for its sight, that they can't move within the skull, right? And he went, well, why'd they do that? Why don't they just do it, give them normal eyes, and then after I've turned their head? I went, what do you mean? Why didn't they? He went, well, whoever did that. I went, well, it was evolution, it was, he went, right. He went, it's like giraffes. I read that giraffes grew their necks to eat food. So, well, they didn't grow their necks to get the food. The ones that had upshots lived longer and so got the food and passed on their. He went, yeah, but why didn't they just give them wings? I went, why didn't who just give them wings? He got angry and went, whoever gave them the necks! His understanding of evolution made me fall on the floor.
Who do you imagine is they? Because you don't believe in God, do you? So who is it you imagine is they?
Well, whoever made us sorted us out.
Who?
I don't know, it just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
there's
Carl,
no,
listen,
there's no will to evolution. It's
I-
natural selection,
I
isn't
still
it?
don't get it though. We talked about an hour didn't we?
I know.
Yeah, but to be
don't
fair,
get it.
I watched as Ricky tried to give you actually what was quite a concise and educated version of evolution. He tried to explain it to you, and I have never seen a person lose interest quicker.
But I tried to use, actual fact, then I tried to use metaphor and analogy, then I showed you some computer programs to show what biofeedback is and everything. I tried all these things, and Steve's right, you were looking out the window.
Have you ever spoken, Carl, to someone who's got Alzheimer's disease? And you try to explain who you are, and they're listening, and then that's what you're like. It's extraordinary. But listen, seriously, I went home, I found this book, I found a couple of facts which I think are more up your street. Evolution, a little bit complicated. A little bit big. But this one, I think we may have mentioned it before, I think you'll like this. This is from a book of facts and trivia. The Egyptians trained baboons to wait on tables. That's interesting to you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you got any more there?
I'll see if I can find
Oh,
it
he's
there.
interested.
Yeah.
Can get the staff.
That did
You
happen,
you
yeah?
pay peanuts,
definitely happened,
you get
yeah.
monkeys.
And then what did they go off and do after that?
Well, it doesn't say. So
I
this is
love
it.
the fact that he thinks, right, okay, so in his mind, if the other monkey going, it's 5:30, I'm off, you know I was going early today, and they go off maybe dancing or something, or they come in late.
No, I assumed what you meant there is that was their first career move. And
Yeah,
then they
well,
went
they-
on. It's like actors waiting to be discovered.
Play a record.
Just one more before you play a record.
Go on then.
You'll like this. Peter the Great. You ever heard of Peter the Great?
No.
Okay, well anyway, Peter the Great had his wife's lover
Oh.
executed.
You'll love this, Carl.
Right, so his wife had a lover, he had him executed, and he put his head into a jar of alcohol, and his wife had to keep it in her bedroom. Do you understand? That's every time she saw, every morning she'd wake up, and there was her lover's head. In a jar.
Who took his head off? He took his own head off.
Play a record.
Play a record.
She had a lover, and oh, never mind, never mind. Mad World on XFM. We just had a text, Rick, from Andrew Barnes. He says he watched the same documentary, it would appear, as Carl did in the week. And he says here, just to clarify, the leech nose man got it up there when drinking from a muddy stream. And he goes on, one can only imagine the frightenedness he experienced.
Oh, Carl. Explain to him once more what happened with Peter the Great.
Alright, so we've got Peter the Great,
Yeah.
okay, and his wife had a lover. on
That's
the
another
side.
man.
Another man.
Not Peter the Great.
She was having an affair with someone else.
Right.
And Peter the Great, he found out about that. Okay?
Yeah.
So he sliced off this bloke's head, he killed him, he executed him.
Right.
You with me so far?
The fella who
Oh,
she
Jesus.
she was seeing for a bit.
Yeah, there's only two fellas
There's
involved
two
here,
people
though.
involved. One's Peter the Great, the other one's
Right,
not.
right.
The guy that's not Peter the Great,
Derek the Terrible.
Derek the Rubbish,
Yeah.
right? He's having an affair with Peter the Great's missus. So Peter the Great slices off his head, puts it inside a jar of alcohol to preserve it, and puts it in his wife's bedroom. So every morning she wakes up, she sees her dead lover's head.
You'd have thought he wouldn't have wanted to remember, wouldn't you?
Oh.
Best bury the head so she don't remember.
Well, it was a reminder so as not to put it about.
And did it work?
Oh, I don't know!
I love that. Again, that to me is an amazing thing to do. And you go, did it work? I mean, you've got quite an interesting mind, actually. I mean, you are, in some ways, really, really bright and intelligent. I love the way you think. You're one of the cleverest blokes in some ways that I know.
Hello, it says I've got common sense.
Well.
Yeah.
And that's more important than knowing about, you know,
But
goldfish
it's
and that.
what, you really, it's like you follow the subplot, which is quite an interesting thing, do you know what I mean? It's like, you tell you a story, you'll always pick up on something that I didn't even think was an important bit. It's like you're always, you're looking out of the window all the time.
So what's important about that head thing?
What do you mean?
The head in the jar.
It's a grotesque thing to do. It shows, ego, power, cruelty, and revenge.
Although I think it probably did work, because he is called Peter the Great.
Yeah.
So you'd assume he got it right.
Yeah.
I don't see how you can query that. That's the sort of facts you give us. You see now, you're on the other side of the fence, and you've got questions, just like we've always got questions.
No, but in Carl's thing, it would have been, turns out, some weird happened, right, and he was still alive.
Yeah.
And so she was still having sex with body, and his head was watching.
Yeah.
And Peter the Great didn't even know.
See how he's perked up?
I understand what you're saying. Now I've learned some other stuff, so I'll see if I can, you know, educate you a bit before 3.
But I want to know, see what, I'll tell you what education I want. I want to know what sort of things I can buy this weekend.
Butt plugs.
No. Have you got any adverts?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.